Hey, welcome to OSR Garage. I know you know this beauty. It's our Volkswagen ID.4 Pro S, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're actually here to talk about the Fisker Ocean, and they'll start opening up other ordering around November. So what I thought I would do is give you guys some comparisons of the Fisker Ocean versus some of the SUV crossover EVs that are out right now, like the ID.4, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Kia EV6, the Ford Mustang Mach E, and even the Tesla Model Y. So today, we are going to talk about the ID.4 versus the Fisker Ocean, what standard equipment, what driver technologies you get in each trim level, and the price comparison. So let's go. So we're going to start off with our comparison of the ID.4 and the Fisker Ocean with a size comparison. The length of the ID.4 is 180.5 inches, and the length on the Fisker Ocean is 188 inches. So it's about 7.5 inches longer than the ID.4. So that might start making a little tight in your garage. But that does mean that there's more space available inside of the Ocean than the ID.4. So then we go to width. The width of the ID.4 is 72.9 inches. The width of the Ocean is 78.5 inches. So there you're gaining another 5.5 inches or so in width of the vehicle. So that means more room in the cabin, so you got more length and you've got more width inside the cabin. And you know how we are here in the US, we like big vehicles. So now we're going to move on to the height of the ID.4, which comes in at 64.6 inches. The Fisker Ocean comes in at 64.2 inches, so it's actually just about a half inch shorter, which really shouldn't make that much difference. Owning the ID.4, I know that there's plenty of headroom inside there, and a half inch is not going to make a huge deal in the Fisker Ocean. And now the last thing we're going to talk about is the wheelbase. Now the wheelbase of the ID.4 is 108.9 inches. The Ocean is 115 inches. So that's 6.2 inches longer wheelbase. So the combination of the longer Ocean, the wider and the longer wheelbase of the Ocean means it's going to have a lot better stability. Don't get me wrong, because the ID.4 has been great. We love it. It does really good cornering. There's not a lot of body roll. But when you get to the Ocean now, that is bigger, the wheels are spread out farther, wider, it's going to be pretty solid on the road. So now we're going to talk about the cargo space. On the ID.4, behind the second row seats, there is about 30.3 inches of depth there, of space on the floor that you can use. Now the Ocean, because it's 8 inches longer, you're going to get 36 inches of space back there. It is going to be 36 inches deep to the back of the second row seats. That is huge. Now with the second row down in the ID.4, you get a boost up to 64.2 inches. So it more than doubles the amount of space in the ID.4, which we love. We really love the amount of space that's in the ID.4. The problem is with the Ocean, we haven't seen any measurements with the seats down. Now my guess, if we took the amount of increase from the ID.4 and guess that it's probably going to be about the same width, the same size seats and stuff like that, if we went that route, then we'd be looking at somewhere around 65 to 70 inches of space with the seats folded down. That is just crazy. It's just, wow. I mean, I could basically lay down in that back with my legs completely straight. I'm about 6 foot, so that's 72 inches, so I can almost do it. Pretty crazy. Okay, so now here is a big one, and I know this is a big concern for everyone, and it's charging speed. How fast can they charge? So those of us that have ID4s and no ID4s, we know that because we haven't gotten an update yet, we are still charging at a max charging rate of 125 kilowatts. But the 2022s should be coming out with the 3.0 software, which gives them a boost up to 135 kilowatts. Now the Fisker Ocean, they said the Fisker Ocean will be able to charge up to 250 kilowatts. And that puts it right on pace with Tesla. That's something to think about. Okay, now we finally got to the trim comparisons. So here we go. Now what I want you to understand is I had to try to compare these the best that I could, because the ID4 has multiple trim levels. It used to just be Pro and Pro S with a gradient package if you wanted it. Now they have the all-wheel drives out, and here is where we run into an issue with trying to compare these with the Ocean. So ID4 has the Pro, then they have the Pro S, then they have a Pro all-wheel drive, a Pro S all-wheel drive, and then a Pro S gradient all-wheel drive. That's where it gets a little confusing, and I tried to pair them up for trim level to trim level the best that I could. We're going to be comparing the ID4 Pro versus the Fisker Ocean Sport. We're going to start out with the drive motors. On the Pro, it gets rear-wheel drive, and on the Ocean Sport, it gets front-wheel drive. ID4 Pro range is 260 miles. The Ocean Sport range is 250 miles. ID4 Pro's got a little leg up right there. So now for the horsepower numbers. The ID4 Pro comes in at 201 horsepower, which seems a little low, but we've had the car for 7 months and we haven't had any problem. We can pass people when we need to. If we feel like blowing somebody off the line at the stoplight, we can, and have a little fun. Not a problem. Now the Fisker Ocean Sport, that's really going to tie things on. 275 horsepower. That is really going to give the boost to the car. 0 to 60 times, the ID4 Pro comes in at 7.7 seconds, and the Fisker Ocean Sport comes in at 6.9 seconds. So now we're going to talk about price. The price comparison here, you might be a little bit surprised. The price of the ID4 Pro comes in at $41,230. The Fisker Ocean Sport comes in at $37,500. I bet you thought the Fisker Ocean was going to be more expensive, but you were wrong. Now we're going to talk about the technology you get inside these two base models. And just remember that this is the technology in these two base models, which means that they are going to be included in all of the other trims moving upwards. And there'll be some stuff added onto those, and then we'll go through that also. The Pro gets IQ Drive, which is their driver assist system. The Fisker Ocean Sport gets Fisker Intelligent Pilot. The Pro has a 10-inch infotainment screen, and the Ocean Sport gets a 17.1 infotainment screen. The Pro comes in with heated seats and heated steering. The Ocean, there is an optional winter package which includes those two things, so that's something you have to option for. The Pro has wireless phone charging, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. The Ocean has not clarified what type of audio system that they will be running with. So we don't know if they're going to have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto as of yet. The Pro gets 19-inch wheels. The Ocean Sport comes with 20-inch wheels. The Pro gets keyless entry and sit to go, which sit to go basically just means when you sit down, the car is ready to go, you hit the brake pedal and everything comes on. You don't have to press a button to turn the car on. There is one, but you don't have to push it. The Ocean Sport gets app as a key. Also, on the Pro, you do not get a glass roof. And there's also no heat pump on the ID4s for North America. With the Ocean Sport, you get the Big Sky full glass roof and a heat pump on all trims. So now, there is a few extra tech things in the Pro that the Ocean doesn't have. The heated seats, the heated steering wheel, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. But if you look at what the Ocean actually does have, that the Pro doesn't have, a heat pump, a full glass roof, you got app as a key, and you have a lot bigger infotainment screen. Alright, so just remember, all of those things will be included in the upper trims, along with a few added features that I will let you know about. Okay, so we're going to step up to the next level. Now, this is the best comparison that I could give you. I could compare prices. If I compare prices, then things would be a little bit different, and we'll talk about that later. But I just tried to do the next trim level up with the best comparison that I could. So, what we have is the Pro all-wheel drive and the Ultra, which is all-wheel drive. With the all-wheel drive on both these vehicles, the Pro range comes in at 249 miles. So that's quite the drop from the 260 out of the single drive motor. The Ultra comes in with a 340 mile range. That is awesome. That is the biggest range that I've seen in this class, this SUV crossover class. So next we're going to talk about the horsepower. Now we've got all-wheel drive on both vehicles, so we've got a drive motor in the rear, drive motor in the front, so our horsepower numbers are going to go up, and the Pro from ID.4 comes in at 295 horsepower. Now, the single drive was 201, and now they're up to 295. So they didn't use the exact same motor in the front and the rear. The Ultra horsepower comes in at 540. 540 horsepower. That is insane. I can't imagine that. I know that there's Teslas and stuff out there that have 1,000 horsepower and all that stuff. But I've actually never been in a vehicle that has 540 horsepower. And I cannot wait to drive it. 0 to 60 time for the ID.4 Pro at 5.8 seconds. So that's a lot better than the single drive motor. But the Ocean Ultra is going to come in at 3.9 seconds. Now that's fast. That is crazy fast. Pricing, we are looking at the Pro at $46,205. Now the Ocean is going to come in at $50,000. Okay, so tech-wise on these two trims, the Pro all-wheel drive, it's the same as the Pro rear-wheel drive. So there's not going to be any additional features in the technology of this. Now the Ultra, though, it gets the open sky roof, which is the full panoramic roof that does open like a moonroof. You get California mode, which drops all your windows at the same time. You get optional smart traction, so you can have that added on. You also get, with your all-wheel drive, you get a rear disconnect to get better efficiency when you're out on cruising out on the highway and the interstate. And then you also get an option of 20-inch or 22-inch wheels. So the final two trims in this comparison, the Pro S all-wheel drive is going up against the Extreme and the One. Pro S all-wheel drive comes in with a range of 240 miles. So now we've gone from 260 on the single drive motor of the Pro up to the Pro S all-wheel drive, and you're down to 240 miles of range. So you're paying more and getting less range. Not what happens with the Ocean. The more you pay, the more range you get. So the Ocean Extreme, you're going to get 350 mile range, which is even more than the Ultra at 340. Now, the horsepower numbers on the Pro S all-wheel drive is still the same as the Pro all-wheel drive with 295 horsepower. The Extreme And the One, they get a 10 horsepower boost up from the Ultra at 550 horsepower. So 0 to 60 times, the Pro S is pretty much the same as the all-wheel drive. You're going to come in about 5.8 seconds. Now the Extreme and the One, they got a little 10 horsepower boost there from the Ultra, and they got a little bit lower 0 to 60 time at 3.6 seconds. Price is where the huge discrepancy is, but you'll understand here in a few minutes why there's such a big price gap. The price of the Pro S all-wheel drive comes in at $50,705. Now the only thing different with the Pro S is you can move up from the Pro S to the Pro S Gradient, which then comes in at $52,600. And with moving up to the Gradient, you gain 20-inch wheels, a black painted roof, and silver side panels. The Ocean Extreme and the One come in at $69,000. So you're looking at almost $20,000 more for this car, but we're going to get into the tech that's added into this car, and then you'll see why it's so much more and why it's such a good value. Now on the Pro S, you get a full panoramic roof that you didn't get on the Pro model. The Extreme comes with a solar sky roof, which can pull in anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 clean energy miles into your car. So you get that little extra range boost. The Pro S, you go up to a 12-inch infotainment screen. The Extreme and One get a 17.1 revolve screen, which means when you park or you are charging, you can press the button and the screen will rotate, and then you can watch a movie. The Pro S, you get upgraded to 12-way powered seats with massage. Now, I will tell you that that is amazing. I love the seats. The seats are really comfortable. I don't really use the massage feature, so it's not that big of a deal to me, but it is great, and some people love it, especially on long trips. Now, this is where the Extreme gets that winter package. It gets the heated front and rear seats and the heated steering wheel. The Pro S gets vegan leather seats. The Extreme and all of the Ocean line have a completely vegan interior with recycled products. The Pro S gets a powered liftgate and inclement weather lighting. Now, the Extreme Ocean gets added on a remote vehicle locator. You get limo mode, so the rear occupants can control their heating and cooling and their system back there. And then you get an option of a 20-inch or 22-inch wheels. Alright, I enjoyed that. I don't know about you. If you did, subscribe down below, because the next time we're going to compare it to an Ioniq 5, and we'll see which one comes out on top. Ioniq 5 or the Fisker Ocean. I will see you later.